looked like the best hunter in the room this weekend.
Bisham is a very solid player, and he's repping from Canada as well.
There we go.
You, Jeff Handler.
Yeah, that's our third Canadian pro.
Yeah. Actually, Just is, I think, Ontario as well.
Is he?
Yeah.
Stubby didn't even know, and he's our resident Canadian.
Oh, we're in picks and bans.
P's and B's, here we go,
Oh
boys.
my God,
Game number 1 already
eGr.
underway.
Team eGr
has
banned Cirquette. I can't believe it.
Well, and there's the Naja ban just cause. I mean, that was like the big tale of doom for eGr in their set versus Cloud9. Goes to game 5. They pick their kind of patented Naja into Cirquette, and Cirquette has 100% kill participation and no deaths.
And Andy was 10th pick. You know, it was actually the 10th pick, and the rest of Cloud9 was like, you need to pick Thor, you need to pick this, you need to pick this, you know? And he's like, I need to pick Cirquette. And they're like, no, Cirquette, no way, you're not picking. He goes, guys, I need you to trust me on this.
Andy?
Yeah. He made the captain call.
When he gets something in his head,
let's just point this out real quick, guys, as the picks band comes in before we talk about the gods. You'll notice that the stats there as they come up. So prior to this, they were from the split 3.
Right.
These are the land stats.
So the land stats are 8% Jean Quay pick?
No way. Yeah, that's actually...
That's definitely
no
incorrect.
way that's the
Don't
case.
think so.
Maybe that's an 80 or a 100, just kind of turned sideways and it looks like an 8.
1% ban Jean Quay from land. Confirmed. Yeah. Bart.
So, it's Zeus. Picked up first here for eGr to go to Lassus Bologna Jean Quay.
Lassus is the only player in the room that made this character look viable in my eyes.
Now remember, the big learning coming out of the Cloud9 eGr set from at least talking to MLC was that Jean Quay is bad and loses you games.
However, Jing Chen is not bad and wins you games.
Yes, that's right. Especially in the hands of what appears to be probably Omega. I don't see this being a PBM god.
To the same point for me with Lassus and Zeus, I think Jean Quay and Incon. I think Incon needs tanky gods to be able to play the game correctly. And I think is probably the only mid laner right now that should be playing Jean Quay. But eGr and C9, after their set, both said, like out loud, I think Jean Quay is a liability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what I was saying there. I mean, what basically came out of it was, well, what if you just pop your shell and fight him? And the answer was a loss for eGr.
Yeah.
Shell, Isosol.
But overall here, I'm liking the EnVyUs draft a little bit more than the eGr draft, with the exception of the Xing Tian, who's been such a dominant force. But Bologna, Mercury, Athena, ton of CC, long-range initiation. Also, worth noting here, it's going to be weekend playing that Mercury again that he's gone to a few times in this tournament so far. Sol, 10th pick. Probably not a lot of people that would have told you there would be a Sol 10th pick in any of these games.
I think she's been pretty overrated this weekend.
Yeah, I would say the same thing too. Not too much, or like a lot of damage coming in the early game. Not a ton going on in the late game team fights, but I'm actually looking. I really like eGr's team comp. It's really team fight heavy.
Yeah.
With that Jing Chen, Zeus, and Geb, and then you still have that semi-global Thor presence to help out with the early game in the ganks.
I feel like the Humbots pick wasn't a shot to Dare to Care. I feel like that was them being shaken from a Just.
Yeah.
I don't think this was. I mean, if I was trying to ban an assassin out against Dare to Care, I probably would have banned Thor.
Yeah.
Sol does have a 100% pick ban rate in this tournament so far.
That's not what it says on the screen bar.
Now, yeah, this is something it's kind of bugged me throughout the weekend that we haven't really seen anybody try to play Sol as a mid-game fighter or a mid laner for that matter.
Yeah.
But we had Arrow and we had
Arrow played it, yeah. But it's not so much
there was one more. Oh, Lobster.
Not so much the position for me. Hey, look, it's Cret and Kevin.
Kevin.
Hey, the WWE standoff.
Well, no, that was Timmy from Australia. All I saw was the chest hair. I don't know.
but this Sol build-up, I mean, we've really only seen a primarily cooldown-based Sol with like Book of Thoth, power stacking.
Yeah.
Where's our pen boots and like damage
I don't know
mid-game fighting Sol?
Yeah, Zap is building full zero cooldown, full power with a poly, Rod at the Hootie, just going for that late game, mid game burst damage.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for
pretty well.
I'm looking for a mid game fighting Sol because I think she's very, very powerful. Obviously, she can scale well into the late game, but if you get those pen boots online, one power item and another pen item, like it's really, really crazy amounts of damage to a single target. And what you see from Sol in these fights is she primarily is just nipping around the corners of the fights, throwing out the twos, not really getting in and fighting so much. All that extra power is not really going anywhere. And so I'm looking for some kind of debuff or something can be easily applied with that ability, but we'll see how Allied plays it.
So starting off, I think it's important to note that Xing Chen on Omega is going to be, it should be, by history's repeating itself most likely, and that's Omega should be a nightmare.
Well, from what we've
how do you
seen
deal with this?
Elsewhere in the tournament, the the player that's not favored to win the lane, more or less, that gets the Xing 10 has done exceptionally well. Looking at like Variety, right? Variety on Xing 10 was a different player than Variety on any other god in the solo lane this tournament.
Starting off strong. Last is going for shield here. Thought we would see Chain Lightning, but they clear it very, very quickly. 16-second timing is about average. You want to see 18-second timing for clearing the speed camp, which is actually what we got from Mercury and Cyclone Spin on the top side. Dare to Care and Omega about 2 seconds behind.
Shield's really good for the mid lane clear as opposed to where Chain Lightning would be more
At level
the buff
1
clear. Yeah, at level 1. It helps out because Zhang getting the lane first, still just barely out clearing Zeus with a couple auto attacks to push off this mid wave.
Zapman very low here. First blood goes to Allied, and he's trying to get out. Polar Bear Mark's in a lot of trouble here.
He's dead.
2 more shots, and that's going to be a clean 2-0 in the duo lane.
That's not what you want to see from a Soul. Not really the best early game character, but getting those 2 kills early, she's going to have boots finish fast.
I mean, that's Shibalanke, right?
Well, it's Purple Pot Soul, remember, and this was the big knock that our pro player analyst had against EnVyUs and Allied's build out on Soul first game around was that he bought a Purple Pot and didn't really do anything but just dominate the lane. There was no real kill potential or pressure applied. No way to make up.
This is big. This is huge. Here comes the shield.
Where's the
He's
wall?
looking. What? Oh, he didn't have his cooldowns.
Does he even have wall?
He has the shield now. Oh, man.
Can we take a look at Thor's build up here?
That
Does he
hurt.
not
We got
have?
2 points and a 3.
Yeah.
I assume.
Oh, wow.
What do you? I mean, yeah.
It's tough unless you see the opportunity.
That's
like
right.
if you hit level 3, then you're like, I might as well get the 2 points on my 3. Instead, the wall definitely would have been better in that situation.
That hurt me. As a Smite fan, that hurt because like the opportunity
Could've
was
been big
there,
damage.
but the shield was down. He couldn't find the Chain Lightning from that range. The wall wasn't. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think they get a kill there without the Thor stun either way, though.
You don't. I mean, dude, Chain Lightning slow is not a joke. And against Zhang Kui, like, where is he going?
Fair enough. But Ally does make up that purple pot here in this game, which should be a pretty good outing for his soul now. I mean, this should be complete dominance in this lane now.
Not only does he have more than enough gold, but the experience difference is going to be a big key as well.
No level 5 just yet. Going to be coming up shortly. Let's check into the solo lane. Where does Cyclone Spin versus Omega on his Xing Tian?
Omega's got 2 more levels, and then he's good.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say about this matchup, it is very favored for Xing Chen from what I've heard from pretty much every solo laner. Blona goes in for that too, and you just knock it up immediately. Blona rotating to mid lane, though, going on Dare to Care. I think he just used his hammer.
And Lassus gets level 5, but not in time. He'll get some detonate damage, but that's pretty much all he's going to get. Decent damage, actually, but no rotation from Omega, and that's the rotation we have been lacking from Cyclone for the past 2 months.
Yeah, that was, I mean, you heard Stevie say it. That was just straight up, they just realized, hey, he used his hammer to farm. That's an easy kill. And that is the kind of the hallmark of the... we're going to have an Athena ultimate here. Into the mid lane where they're going to try to make the play once again onto Zeus. Lassus moves up a little bit too far, and down he will go. They will trade out for Mercury, though.
That's actually a pretty big win in my eyes. Going the 1-for-1 there, especially after they get the kill once he already has the kill onto Mercury, means that they're getting extra bounty, plus the fact that that was not a red pot Mercury. He started with boots. So this is actually a pretty big benefit for Envy right there as they lead 4-1. But remember, we have seen them in this position. They started a game out 3-0 previously, and they lost that game pretty steadily. That was game 1 versus Enemy.
With a 2-0 Thor at the beginning of the game.
God bless.
That's tough. It's a tough loss.
Snoopy a little salty. He's like, we could have beat him.
I mean, if Gar's had a 2-0 Thor at the beginning of the game, I don't know.
No, you're a caster. You can't criticize the player.
That's true.
You're going to be a Reddit thread.
Now the question is, can Zapman recover somehow in this lane? Can he recover in a meaningful way to the late game?
I would say that Zap can't recover while in laning phase. It's going to be more dependent on the team fights and how he plays with that ultimate and tries to get to the back line, picking up like kills on squishy targets. But definitely for now, he's going to get bullied out of lane. He's not going to have that sustain for a while going to Transcendence build. And it's going to take at least until probably level 14, 15 before he can do anything relevant.
Right, but I mean, that's what we've seen before. It's a very late game meta right now, and if we actually go back to when Envy became the top team in North America, it was because of their trip to LAN to the spring finals, because they defeated Cloud9 in the final set, and that defeat actually came at the hands of late game Allied, who got dominated all game 2v1ing. If there's any god in the game that can turn the game around in the end game, it's absolutely Shibalanke.
Oh, definitely.
Or like old Guan, but I don't think that counts.
For me, one of the big things that used to really stand out about the way this EnVyUs team would play is kind of this period right here. If you recall when they were so dominant, they were extremely dominant on the enemy side of the map at the 4-minute mark with the respawn of the camps. And here you're seeing there's just no pressure or penetration really into the eGr side of the map to stop those buff camps or attempt to fight them, right? I mean, so often they would find kills with the orange buff as the mid laner rotated over, pick him up and try to find the jungler as well, but not to be the case this time as eGr will secure their buffs.
For Envy, I think their win condition here is the same win condition that has always been on any team, rather going up against Lassus in the history of competitive Smite, and that's kill Lassus, win the game. There has never been a point in time where if you just focus down Lassus, that his team won. That's where the fall of Dignitas came, the fall of Root, back to Curse when Zapman and he were on separate teams. It's how eGr started to fall, and it's how eGr has gotten better. When they switch Lassus back to the mid lane, it's like people forgot that they need to camp him. Just camp Lassus. Opposite side, eGr, it's just all about Dare to Care. Like if Dare to Care can get a really good timing at like 14 or 15 minutes for an objective fight and kind of break that 12-minute curse that he's been, I think, holding, maybe it has been inherited since Raffer's fall last year, I think that eGr has a clean 2-0 here.
I think the one thing that's going to bring eGr back into the game is a good rotation from Omega. Getting that Jing Chen in with maybe a huge ult when some of the beats are down, that's just going to spell disaster for them with especially a Zeus follow-up and maybe Shablanc there to put in some damage. It's going to be really tough to deal with.
Yeah, especially considering Bologna did find that successful rotation early on in the game for that kill in the mid lane.
Small damage onto Kiki. No worries, that man actually taking a little bit of damage for that poke, but he's trying to clear the wave up. He's actually going to get most of these last hits, so that winds up working out pretty well for him.
eGr, they're on pace here to lose their tower around 8 minutes or so, it looks like. Only a few more waves going to be required for Allied to take this one down.
Kiki continuously dashing through, trying to get these stacks up. I like this. I mean, it's a little bit lacking in the aggression now as they go under the tower. But by the way, look at the structure damage.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, I saw that one up a couple times. Yeah, 1100 there. So that thing's nearly going to go down. This wave's going to get at least a few more in-hands in. Geb's going to body block where he can, but PBM can't take too much of this assault because it's a pretty easy tower dive, right? You rotate this Thor over here.
This is what I'm looking for. Finally, we're going to see Dare to Care on the rotation. Lassus by himself. Dare to Care is trying to just battle out with Kiki, and Kiki definitely taking the worst of that one.
Yeah, Kiki got locked in there with Thor and then had to eat the full Mjolnir's attunement. Very man efficient there, hitting both a god and the entire camp for Dare to Care. That'll work.
Yep.
It's a trade you like. Let's take a look at the solo lane here for a moment, as looks like we're going to have a bit of farming. And see how Omega's faring versus Cyclone's been starting to get the better of the Bologna in the HP department on the Xing Chen. All that HP 5 starts to really add up here now as he's getting level 10. He's going to have access to next level's ultimate fairly soon as well.
I'm actually...
That's when the rotation
If I'm thinking about it, I'm actually kind of surprised at the Soul pick instead of Freya, considering the fact that we saw Freya yesterday dominate Xing Chen, like free.
Remember, Soul was like last picked.
Right, where
Yeah.
Freya could have been.
Is there a major difference between Soul and Freya, though, in their ability to kill tanks?
Yeah, Soul can't chunk Xing Chen the way that Freya can. No one can chunk anyone the way that Freya can. Freya is like the anti-Guardian in the Guardian meta, which is why it's been so surprising to me that we haven't seen her.
Snoop, what do you think?
Freya's definitely better at taking on Guardians for sure. She can follow the Guardians a lot easier than Soul. Souls are free to like keep up for the 2 to 3 seconds, but after that you don't have much. Where Freya with the Haste and Vitalis is really easy to keep up, and Demonic Grip, you're going to be chunking those protections either way.
I think we're getting to the point now where Xing Chen no longer cares about the Goddess of War.
Yeah, you saw the ultimate used there by Omega. Cyclone's been forced to ult out as well to avoid getting wrapped up, and yeah, the bullying has begun for Omega with the Xing Chen.
Well,
and he's had Cyclone's number.
But remember, he did have the silver breastplate online. Cyclone just now getting that silver talisman, or emerald talisman rather. He can now go to lane and be a little bit more, I would say, hardy. But this is where Dare to Care can start making those plays now, especially with Cyclone's ult down. But remember, if you go to duo, solo, you're going to lose something in duo. You got to be careful about that Gold Fury.
Definitely. Now Omega back got that full cooldown now. He's going to be really hard to deal with in lane, even with the Emerald Talisman.
Wow, that gold lead is much higher than I would have expected off 3 kills.
Yeah, they really farmed the map. I think they've gotten pretty much most of the mid camps off of that, and they've tried to invade some side posts, but I don't think that's been successful. They've
taken some back camps. You know, we've seen them go for things, and obviously it's working out. Oh wait, look at wait. No, didn't get a little bit early. Close. I think that was smart though, considering that trying to battle Zeus detonate for executions is like nigh on impossible.
I think he was expecting the Zeus detonate, just maybe the slight chance that he does get in between the detonate and the extra damage.
Oh, just barely missing that one. Kiki would have taken a fair chunk of his health. He walks out unscathed.
Well, approaching the 10-minute mark here, and EnVyUs has made it through the early game with an advantage over eGr. Just a few thousand gold separating the teams here. 3K experience, 3K gold. And, well, the next big challenge for EnVyUs here is how is Incon going to play in these objective and team fights? I think that was probably the weakest part of this team earlier on in this tournament. Couple of questionable Isis ultimates, especially coming out of Incon there. So how's he going to play this Zhang Kui? And really what you should be looking for here is if Zhang Kui dies early in these fights, that's where you're going to look at it and say this is going to be trouble for Team EnVyUs and that they're going to have to kind of find a way to get Incon's head in the game. Now, he's a very capable player, obviously, but we'll have to see exactly how it does go down. Gold Fury is going to be started up here by EnVyUs. Let's take a listen to the eGr comms and see if they're going to be able to aggress into this.
Oh, it's really weak.
We can fight Zhang.
I'm here. He's really weak.
They're on me. Knocking up. I have shield ready for anyone. Shield ready for anyone.
Back up left, back up.
Just back up. We can back up here. We got one.
Mid lefts are up.
I have no ult. How about I back up?
They're on me.
They're gonna look for a taunt. There it is. I shielded anyone. We need to get out. We're not winning this fight.
Backing.
I'm probably dead now. Yeah, we gotta die. Gotta be careful with pathing. Oh, we all backed out together, and we just funneled right there for Athena taunt.
It's doom and gloom on the side of eGr as Envy not only finds the better of the engagement, but the Gold Fury as well, and their gold lead extends from 32 to 4,700 with an experienced kicker of 4,200 as well.
Yeah, you heard it in the comms there. Just they kind of funneled into that fight 1v1. But I do want to point out there, I mean, you saw Incon's positioning not very amazing on that Zhang Kui. Like, I think that the comms from EnVyUs were trying to disengage there, and he popped his ultimate and walked in. Got isolated, got killed, but it did result in a couple return kills as well as Kiki was able to turn the corner for the taunt.
I wonder if you could have taken that sound clip you just made and put it on any single Envy game this weekend.
About Incon?
Incon being out of position. Right?
Yeah,
I mean that's just been the analysis for the team is Incon's positioning as a mage is much, much weaker.
I mean, he's new to the role again. I mean, Incon was once.
He's been stealing my elo for like 3 weeks.
Extremely dominant mid lane player, but in ranked especially.
Those are probably the two most opposite roles positioning-wise, mage and support. So it would be difficult with the short amount of time to go between the two.
I don't know, Hunter and Solo.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Solo's kind of like behind the whole team fight, going for that one kill. Hunter's sitting pretty far back.
Hunter's the one trying to kill the solo laner.
Yeah. But he's got that Midgardian mail and Nemean line.
And his Shield of the Underworld.
He sounds so angry right now.
Super not a fan of anti-lifesteal items, sounds like. Anti-attack speed.
Anti-anything Hunter.
Anti-Hunter items. Yeah, where are the anti-warrior items, Snoopy?
Hey, chin size exists. You guys refuse to build it.
I dislike that item. Takes away from my critical strike chance.
It's all about the big numbers for Snoopy. Heard it here first. 6-2 for EnVyUs now as we approach 13 minutes.
What is this?
Yeah, just the not really sure. The three-man pressure over here on the right side from Envy.
I wonder what the comms are like for, hey, we should try to kill Xing Chen.
No, I think it's just like, hey, Gold Fury's down. Like, let's go hunting.
I think they definitely know that the speed's coming up because Cyclone was in the radius for it.
That's
so
true.
They're probably grouping up for something around there.
Lassus in a weird spot.
Omega doesn't even care.
Yeah, and he's going to send out some decent damage. Not sure why Kiki just dashed into that wall.
Yeah, what happened there? That was really strange.
I heard Thor. He's going up.
Mercury ulted out there.
Yeah, that was a lot of disengagements.
There was two ultimates used to disengage from a Shibalanke ultimate. They were just worried about getting wrapped up in that Xing Chen.
Dare to Care able to get
They
away
didn't even
from
have an
that
ult,
one.
though.
I don't know about this ally being on this side of the map here. Zapman's going to have a really good run-in. Not many ultimates remaining. We have a few big team fight ults with Eagles Rally, Recall Demons. It looks like we still have... oh, wow, we have Lightning
Domain
Storm
Cataclysm.
still.
In will come the Xing Chen as well. Double flip onto Allied. Allied going to go in that corporal form here in just a moment. Zeus ultimate used as well, and eGr is going to be able to hide out underneath this tier 1.
I think that's
successfully poking about 50% of the HP from EnVyUs across the
not the
board.
best spot.
Rooted now is Zhang Kui. They're going to have his beads. Down he will go as well. Soul ultimate used, but off the mark. No real damage coming through. Trying to move forward is Kiki. Shield wall down. The taunt as well. Bologna over the top. That could be enough for
That's
Zeus.
good for
Blood
Cyclone.
should do it. Indeed, it is. Lassus now down. Spinning away is Xing Chen. Trying to roll out is going to be the Geb, but looks like Zapman moving forward with the bolas will be enough to zone them.
Man, you can't even be angry with eGr about forgetting about Bologna because I completely lost track of her in that fight.
Yeah, I don't know where she went. She just came
Dash
out
in taunt as well onto
Oh,
Zapman. They get his
no.
beads one as well. He's going to leap away. This is going to be the tier 1 secured now for Envy, it appears.
I thought Envy was scooping around the jungle already. It looks like they're going to try to stick around for this. I'm surprised to see Allied still here. I would have thought at this point he would have backed.
Well, he has the tier 1 already.
True, but I mean, like, he still wants experience. Eh?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but they have the tier 1 mid, tier 1 left. There's really no place for him to go safely farm. Both the lanes are pushed up pretty far.
Look at that structure
Sieging
damage.
another tier 1 is going to be probably the best for him.
Derek Care going to get his speed. So far, the speed has gone well for him, at least. But eGr's had a rough start. I don't think many people expected this.
Nah, EnVyUs played this really well for the get-go and seem to be pushing the lead really well. It's not get the early game and then kind of peter out thing. They've been pressuring everywhere. They've gotten 3 tier 1s, which is pretty crazy, and a gold for you already.
Yeah, the big difference for me has been Cyclone's been looking like old form here. That early rotation was big. I mean, he showed a nice ability to move out of the solo lane and find effectiveness in the fights. That's twice now he's had a big rotation.
I think that we're actually having a little bit of trouble from Omega. I feel like the Breastplate of Valor has slowed down his damage potential, and even though he did win 1 engagement against Cyclone, that was before Cyclone got his level of defense online, and I don't see him having the same level of pressure. I mean, they don't have a way to really break the beads before that ult, so he's not getting a lot of efficiency out of the Whirlwind, and then his front line isn't as strong considering he has no magic damage against a Soul Hunter and a Zhang Kui. There's a lot of magic damage on Envy.
But I think it's okay for him to use the Xingqian Whirlwind to get the beats, because they have the re-engage from Thor as well as Geb Cataclysm.
Yeah, they have actually a lot of beads popping and a lot of reinitiation, and we're not kind of seeing that. And we're already past the point where Dare to Care has been his strongest throughout this tournament. I mean, if history repeats itself here, Dare's not going to have too much pressure unless he changes his playstyle, and he's going to need to.
Started up once again by EnVyUs trying to bait eGr into a fight. Let's take a listen in with EnVyUs as the fight's going to break out here. Polar Bear Mike moving forward.
Almost
That's low.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I'm in the back. I'm still on.
That's Jing ult down. I'm okay. Jing ult down.
Thor.
I'm on Thor. I have taunt for 2. Nice job. I have a taunt.
I gotta be careful. I'm low. I'm really low.
Incon slow. I'm okay. Okay. I'm fine.
We can
start it.
Can I back or can I stay? Heal off middle. What the fuck?
Okay.
Still
I'm
fine by myself.
I'm staying.
I think it's free.
We have to turn. You guys are fine.
I think it's free, dude. Burn. Nice job.
Well played.
Yo, I got Thor. I all didn't do shit.
I baited everyone with
I was
Soul.
looking for the ult and I was like, where the fuck is the murder? I couldn't see, dude. Shavali on OP. Yeah.
I could get shell here.
Yeah, you hear the boys of EnVyUs there giving Weekend a hard time for Mercury ulting into a Thor wall.
Graph's coming up here in just a second. We'll show you EnVyUs has controlled the game. It has been a steady decline down that graph. 7,300 gold now is eGr's, or rather is eGr Junior to Envy, and it's just crazy to me how...
eGr Junior sounds like a cool team.
What?
eGr Junior.
Isn't that the Xbox team?
Yeah, the amateur eGr.
Eric Cougar?
Yeah, the
captain of the juniors.
The Challengers Cup team they sponsor.
But this has been insane for them so far. I'm actually kind of flabbergasted that eGr has had this week of a game, considering how well they played into the World Champions in their last set.
If EnVyUs wins this game this handily, I don't know if eGr's going to recover in game 2.
Well, I mean, they got kind of bodied in the first 2 games against Cloud9.
Right,
It looked like
this is a best of 3, not a best of 5.
Right, but I'm saying, like, it still looked like a swift 3-0, and their mentality battled back. And that's one thing you got to give eGr credit for, is the mentality change they've had over the last 18 months. Like, if you've watched them as players as closely as, you know, some of the fans have, they have become such positive people in their comms. Like, there's very little tilting now. It's actually really impressive.
This team, the issue that I have with this team is that the hardest thing for them to do is get their first win. Once they get their first win in a set, they end up generally playing pretty well and finding consecutive wins. You saw it in that Cloud9 set, but I don't know if they're going to find their first win before EnVyUs just ends them. I mean, this game is going to be very difficult for them to pull back. And what's going to be maybe good for them is it's not that necessarily eGr has made this game particularly hard for themselves in the way they played. Oh, here comes Weekend moving in.
This is good for eGr. This is great for eGr.
Cataclysm's big onto 3. Here comes Xingqian. Doesn't find anybody. The Book of Demons is open. Athena to the back lines as she ults out. Soul Ultimate's going to come down, not finding too much. Cyclone Spin's going to go down in this fight early on. The Zeus Ultimate uses the back lines to zone. Kiki's so cheeky, trying to move forward. Looks like they're going to drop Kiki as well here. Yes, Branching Bull is unable to confirm that kill, however. That would have been great for Zapman. I don't think Zap's going to want to chase this too far.
Bologna is in a really good spot. She backed, actually. She didn't die.
Yeah, Zap's
and she
going to be a lot of trouble
teleported
here.
back in. Zap's out of position, and Cyclone's right in the back line.
That knockup there.
He's diving, but no one's following him up. Omega's back as well, full health, just like Cyclone did. The turnaround's going to be, again, big for eGr.
Yeah, big body block coming out there from Omega as well. There's the dot here, the spins. That should be enough to net the kill onto the Bologna. She's going to try to come back in and get the bludgeon to fall onto Zapman. One thing I do want to point out there in that fight, though, was that Lassus got credit for like all of those kills that Zapman nearly got. They could have picked up about another 15 power in that Shibalanke. Unfortunately, they only do secure the 1 kill for Zap.
I'm sure he'll get at least 15 power on that Zeus with that gold, though, right?
Yeah. He'll finish off his Spear of the Magus, it looks like here, to follow up that E-Staff build. Not going for the Warlock Slash. I like that. I think Zeus is a brawler. You want to get him in there and start fighting.
And, getting him with some penetration. Think about the fact that he is second on the damage charts right now before he had penetration. Like, that's insanity. And now that he's got at least a little bit with that Spear too, and now his red buff, he'll be able to do a lot more damage in team fights.
One thing I do want to mention, you were talking about eGr's mentality. It's really tough to not get a little bit tilted when your dueling gets double killed at a minute in the game. I think that's one of the things that kind of swung the game. Obviously,
see, but that's not fair analysis because you're in the duo lane. You're not objective.
You're right.
Yeah, you tilt when you get double killed at minute 1.
Of course not. Of course.
No, I think that you make a good point there, and I don't think it played out necessarily that you saw eGr's comms fall apart or any kind of the blame game start up, but you did see that there was a big trepidation, we'll say, from Dare to Care to really make any kind of play on the left side because of that level advantage on EnVyUs. Very unlikely that they find any kills, and so as a result of that, they didn't get a lot of pressure around the map from their early game jungler there.
Zap has made it back to the same level as Allied, which is really impressive. Allied still not taking a spill. He's 2-4.
It's over 1,000 gold behind them.
Right, but I mean, it's Sol and Shibalanke. I mean, Shibalanke uses that gold a lot better than Sol does.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, it basically it ends up working out likely that eGr will have to just win an extra fight. Because that Soul is going to be, a couple minutes ahead of Zapman for the rest of this game. Taunt comes in, but the stone shield is there.
Did you see that right there? All of Envy was clearly calling back off, and Kiki went in anyway. There was no follow-up potential whatsoever. Even if that taunt had been a second earlier, there wasn't follow-up potential. And that might be an issue. I think Envy is starting to get a little shaken.
Gold Fury up in 10 seconds here. Gotta imagine there's going to be an attempt from Allied on this Soul.
One thing too with a Soul as a hunter, not having a dedicated real hunter, it's tough to just pull Gold Furies without the lifesteal that you get normally with like a Shablanc or a Rama. That was something that they were, when they made that second Gold Fury, they were like kept pulling it and resetting it and pulling and resetting it because you don't have that sustain. You have that percentage regen from Soul, but it's percentage of your missing health. So unless you get really low, it's not going to do a ton.
Yeah, that's a big issue for the Soul is itemizing for Soul can be very difficult trying to figure out where the lifesteal fits in the build.
Cyclone's been going for Hide of the Urchin 22.5 minutes into the game. I mean, at this point, a one wipe could wind up spelling such a big gold difference that he'll never even get a relevant amount of stacks. This might not be super cost efficient here, and if I was Omega and I see that coming online, I would want to be aggressive because this gold isn't worth it until he gets at least, what's it, 4 stacks, Snoopy?
I'm not really sure with the Heart of the Urchin.
I think the cost efficiency is 4 stacks is when it pays for itself, and then at 10 stacks it becomes incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do have that Deathbringer finished on Mercury with the golden bow, so if they're going to get kills, it should be now.
That's something we haven't talked about. Weekend was getting the most absurd ults you've ever seen in his last set. In this game, it's like
he's ulted twice
he
this
hit
game.
A Thor wall, he hit nothing, and then he hit someone and almost died.
Well, he ulted out of the tier 1 on the right side with an Athena ultimate on top of him. That was like maybe the most troubling thing about this MVS game so far.
Ulting the
and
Thor
eGr's
wall?
best chance to get out. Well, that's just a mistake, but using the Athena ultimate and the Mercury ultimate to escape the Shibalanki ultimate was a 2-for-1 ult trade, and it turned into an MVS fight eventually. Here comes a Cataclysm blink in from Polar Bear Mike, but he only finds the
That's
one.
big.
We can re-engage.
Double
2
beads.
No, I'm sorry, you got 3 on the back of that. 2 of them using beads. Here comes the Athena ultimate as well.
Zap's
on top.
going down.
The crit's going down onto Zap. Zap is going to fall, but there's big stacks out of this Zeus detonate coming any moment now. He's still taunted.
Look
Bag
at
of Demons is out. Incon doing just loads of damage. Polar Bear Mike going to fall as well. That's 4 members of eGr cleaned up by EnVyUs there. I don't think that Cyclone's going to be able to walk down Omega on this tank of Xingtian, but it is a free Gold Fury or Fire Giant perhaps for EnVyUs.
Did he get a single stack? No, no Urchin stacks.
No, it looks like the Soul Laners are just slapboxing each other inside the fight. The whole fight was just constantly running away from the Soul Laners into the left lane, so they couldn't really get in there and do much.
We're going to have to see some kind of a miracle play come out from Omega, but I don't know if he has the control. Remember, Cyclone Spin still has Eagles Rally. Even if Omega fights past him, he's getting stunned.
Yeah, there's no way that he makes it there. Omega's going to be stuck underneath his tower. Look at that split from Envy to get those mud puddles out of the way for the melees.
That was really good tanking.
Yeah, well done.
I mean, the only thing that I think Weekend could have done better there was dash out of the puddle before it hit him. But if he even used the dash, right, he could have been coupled out by Xingtian nonsense if Cyclone didn't control him perfectly. So I don't think there was any criticism to be made. I mean, honestly, right there, that was as textbook and perfect of a Fire Giant fight as you could possibly see.
We'll find the Gold Fear here as well. Will EnVyUs extending this advantage over 10,000 gold, already 10k plus experience. eGr backs on the ropes.
Game 1's looking rough, man. Snoopy, break it down for us in that last fight.
Well, what happened really was the Merkel did end up hitting this fight and into a big, probably Deathbringer crit. You can't do much as Chibalanke.
You saw that 686 or whatever it was come up on the screen.
And the team just trying to rally towards that, man, but they were rallying into a Jean Kui ult. So that's really tough to deal with. And like I said, the soul winners were split, so Omega didn't have much.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing you are, Brandon. Where is the Shell 3 from eGr?
Shell,
I mean, they're just
Heavenly,
letting
Weakening Curse.
Forget all of that. I mean, yeah, Heavenly, Weakening, sure. Shell is the counter to Zhang Kui. Zhang Kui is a Shell 3 plus Bag of Demons. He's unkillable while his ultimate's active.
Incon is not playing a mage. Incon is playing support right now.
And there's no there's no Shell. I mean, that's exactly
but I mean,
which
look,
is so surprising because eGr beat Cloud9 repeatedly using a Shell against Zhang Kui.
It's Shell, it's Heavenly, right? They have these auras on the right side, on Envy side, and there are 3 open active slots, and it's 4 beads, a teleport, and 2 blinks. Like, what are you using these blinks for? What is Xing Chen blinking into?
I think the issue is when they were picking up Shell beforehand, it was on Omega, and Omega seems to want to go the blink route this time. Polar Omega seems to go blink and beads on most of his supports to not really get locked down.
Yeah, no, Kiki didn't buy beads, which is very unusual.
And they're just, it's awkward to get it on a carry. Probably Thor's the best one to get it on.
Cyclone pushing the tier 2. Mercury going into the mid lane to push down that tier 2 as well. It's just bleeding gold on the side of eGr, and I just don't see how they're going to catch up unless they start capitalizing on these split pushes. Right there, when they saw Cyclone pushing, they should have engaged because they had the man advantage, and they didn't.
Let's take a quick listen in with the EnVyUs comms here as they spread this map out and see what their strategy is. It looks like they've freed up some space on the tier 2 left.
Back up. I'm getting free tower mid. Yep.
Alright,
We've got all lanes pushed up. Which lane
Push
are you pushing?
we have 90
right.
seconds. We have 90 seconds.
Pushing right.
Pushing right. They're all going right, it looks like.
Okay, I'm here.
No, 2
Please
minutes.
have creep.
Nice damage. Xingtian's going in really hard right now. He jumped in on us in the back.
Jing's on incon.
I'm okay.
Keep him off you. Good job.
Slowing.
We're going for a bit. We're
I
going
got
for a
mid,
bit.
mid, free.
You get middle.
Yep.
Careful.
Thor's in
Go
the
in the air,
air.
go in the air,
Thor
go in the air.
Thor in the air. He might go for Allied. He might
I'm
go for Allied.
fine.
Careful.
I have taunt ready.
Oh, I baited it.
Nice shot.
That's Thor all down.
Alright.
I've
I'm
got
ulting.
Shell.
Now.
Get
That's
ulting.
his blink.
Just Shell.
I'm multi-cycler. I'm multi-cycler. This is
Stunning Thor.
low.
Thor. Xingtian.
Zeus? I got two.
1 HP. Got Left. him.
Nice.
Tower. Tower.
Phoenix.
End the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
GG.
Stop fire, John. Yeah.
I gave you down a ward just in case you had to teleport back in. Nice job. Good
Well
game.
GG.
And yeah, it's 600 health. It's done. First game going to Envy. eGr going to have to dive into that bag of tricks here. Their chances at Worlds hang in the balance.
Snoopy, 2-0, duo lane, minute 1. Is it just? I mean, you make the game very hard for yourself.
It's really hard to come back from that, especially if it's Soul. Soul can pressure so much into that, like you said, or like we saw, she had 1,000 tower damage at 2 minutes in the game. Like she's going from lane to lane, pushing each tower, and then that's getting team gold and team pressure. And
I mean,